Hello, my little bookish babes. That's a new one. I don't know, I'm so new to this that I literally don't know what to do for intros or conclusions. So I just say whatever pops into my mind. And you know what? It's working out pretty well for me, so that's what we're gonna keep doing. So as you can probably tell, it is the end of the month. I guess technically when you're watching this, tomorrow will be the last day of the month, but it's the closest to like end of September, beginning of October, on a Friday, because I always do Fridays. And so I'm going to do a reading wrap-up of what I read in September and what I'm going to read in October. Now, I did not read that many books this past month. There are 3 that I'm currently working on right now, and I'm going to finish 2 of those tonight or tomorrow because I'm very, very close, and I'll just film the reviews for those ones at school tomorrow in like the library or something. But I'm going to go over what I do have, and we have a guest star today. Her name is Cougar, and she's a sleepy girl. And I'm gonna pull up my notes on my laptop and read them off for you. So yeah, let's do it. So as you can probably tell, it is the end of the month. I guess technically when you're watching this, tomorrow will be the last day of the month, but it's the closest to like end of September, beginning of October, on a Friday, because I always do Fridays. And so I'm going to do a reading wrap-up of what I read in September and what I'm going to read in October. Now, I did not read that many books this past month. There are 3 that I'm currently working on right now, and I'm going to finish 2 of those tonight or tomorrow because I'm very, very close, and I'll just film the reviews for those ones at school tomorrow in like the library or something. But I'm going to go over what I do have. And we have a guest star today. Her name is Cougar, and she's a sleepy girl. Comment down below if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this video and what you thought of them. And also, you can follow my Goodreads. I'm going to link it in the description, or you can just find me. It's literally just ashlie.rose, the same name as this. I don't think there's an underscore though. Yeah, let's do it. The first book that I read this month was one that I actually counted as having read last month, but I did not finish it until probably like halfway through this month, and that is The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. This one is going to be released to the general public on March 5th, 2024. If you didn't catch the last video, I won this in a Goodreads giveaway, and so it's not out for purchase yet. I ended up rating this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really good introduction back into the whole YA and fantasy type of genre, because I've mostly been reading more like adult fiction that had like political undertones, and this one has a lot of political undertones. The same as a lot of other books that have magic systems involved. There's like class division and like fantasy racism almost, I'm gonna say. There's also, that's the big one, honestly. There's like political things like police brutality, politics, stuff like that. So that was a good segue back into the fantasy genre, and honestly, I really love the system of magic. It was so unique and not really something that I'd seen before, and you know what? We always love a little good government upheaval, so slay for that, Bethany Baptiste. She has another book out, and I think I might purchase that and read it. That being said, this book was an excellent segue into the fantasy reading that I did this month. So the first book that I read this month, entirely this month, is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is a trilogy. It's based on like this little carnival game thing, and these 2 sisters who have to like escape their island and go play in the game. I'm trying to like not give spoilers. I rated this one a 4 stars. This again had like a really good magic system, but also the only reason I give this book 4 stars as opposed to what I rated the other books is because the big plot twists were kind of predictable, and it seemed relatively low stakes. Whenever something bad would happen, I would know like, oh, that's not like actually gonna stay bad. It's gonna be resolved because, you know, There's 2 more books in the series. The next book that I read this month was The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. Fun fact about this book, I tried to check it out at the university library, but when I scanned the barcode, it was like, this item does not exist. So I stole it. I'm gonna put it in the book drop, and they're gonna like scan it in and be like, well, first of all, no one checked this out. Second of all, this doesn't even exist. But look, it has a barcode. It has like a little tag. It's stamped. It says Arizona State University. So I rated this one 3 stars because, first of all, I'm just not a big romance book girly, but oh, it might have been 4 stars. It's right here. The answer is right here. Thank you, editing Ashley. You my girl. Okay, so I rated this because, okay, there were like 2 spicy scenes in the entire book, and I was like searching through all the books that they had in the human relationship section at ASU, and I was like googling them, like, is blank book spicy, and it said that this one was spicy, so I checked it out and it was not that spicy. The spicy scenes were good. I just wish there was more of them. However, I am finding that I very much do like the fake dating trope. It's good. It makes me want to be a romance book girly, and I think I might have to be a romance book girly because they have a ton of romance books at ASU. So I would say this is a pretty solid book. It's not like literarily complex. It was a very easy read because, again, yeah, I mean, you can tell by looking at it what you know who you are if you read these kind of books, and you know why you're reading them. So it's not for literary analysis, that's what I'm gonna say. But I didn't read it for literary merit either. I read it because I wanted to, and it was a good fun read. Not really what I typically gravitate to. I like to gravitate towards like fiction things, stuff with magic, which is everything I read is like a fantasy or like a magic system or something like supernatural and spooky about it. So pretty good. If you're into this, I think this is a good book, but I don't have any metrics to compare it by, so maybe I'll read some more and do like a short or video ranking them. The third book that I read, I left in my dad's car, so I'm not going to show it right now, but it is Legendary, the second book in the Caraval series, and I rated this one 5 stars because, first of all, it was from the other sister's perspective, and ooh, it was so good. It was so good, and there was like complex details and like higher stakes, and the plot twists I really didn't see coming. It made me feel things. This is like a new thing. If you haven't been around here that long, I'm trying to look for a book that's gonna make me feel things, and I have found a couple on my reading journey so far. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, and now this book. I started tearing up. I did not cry, but I started tearing up. And by the way that this one is going, this one is gonna be like 5+. It's gonna be like 6 stars because already I'm like halfway through the book and I'm like devastated. She keeps hurting me. She keeps hurting me. So yeah, let's cut to me reviewing that book and also the other book that I've read this month. I just finished the 2 books that I said I was gonna finish, so I'm just gonna go over them really briefly, and I had to cry from the embarrassment. Okay, so the first book is Finale. I rated this one 5 stars, and it's just so ridiculously good. Sad that I like rushed to finish it because my brain's like itching to read more, but there's only 3 books. I honestly might just like reread these. It was so good. Like the romance in these books. Excuse me? I have never once been like, oh, this fictional character. Maybe I have, but not recently. Have I ever been like, oh, this man? Because men, ew, but like, these men. If you like fantasy at all, this one took a while to pick up for me. For like the first book I was telling, it's just average, but the last 2 were so good. So, yeah. And also,
don't magic. There's so much magic. There's so much tomfoolery, and it wasn't exactly that predictable. It was a little predictable because I knew who she was gonna end up with, and it was who I wanted her to be. But it also had me kind of like, what if I want the other guy? Because they're both kind of slick. Such a weird angle because it has to be tilted. Okay, this is the next book I read. It's Great LGBT Speeches by Taya Luglo, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a bunch of speeches from queer people about their queer experiences. It's just such a beautiful book. Like, it has these beautiful pictures in it, and I need to get a copy for my own house. It also has a bunch of like speeches that you can find online and listen to them, and it recommends that you listen to them. I did not because I was just like trying to finish it for this video, but I want to get a copy for my own house to like look at and, you know, learn more and then go into my little online rabbit hole of different speeches. But I really like reading people's perspectives on things, so I don't know, collection of speeches is great, and they're I feel like speeches are a lot easier to read than essays.
So let's now get into the books that I want to read this month. First of all is a very lofty goal. I am fully aware that I'm not going to finish this month, or probably literally until January when it's due. But it is The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, which just intrigued me so much when we would talk about it in American history, and I was just like, what's the whole thing? For one, I did not know that this was a fiction work. I didn't know that it was a novel. I literally thought it was going to be like an Ida Tarbell muckraker type deal. I think Upton Sinclair is a muckraker, but this book is not like a news report and an expose. It is a novel. The next book is one that I actually don't know that much about. It is called The End of the Myth by Greg Grandin. Grandin, yes. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I saw it on like someone's like TikTok reading list of books that they think aren't hyped up enough, non-fiction books that they don't think are hyped up enough. I don't know exactly what it's about. I know it has something to do with like the perspective of American expansionism and like a more liberal look at that, like a liberal assessment of it. But don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure, and I will get back to you next month about what it really is about. Speaking of that, we have another non-fiction book. This one's kind of like a little bit spooky-ooky. This one does not have a dust jacket. It just looks like a plain black book, but it's called From Here to Eternity, and it's, I found this on like the same thing, but this is basically like a collection of death myths and how different societies view death. It is a collection of different societies' perspective on death, what they think happens after death, and I think traditions surrounding death. So this is gonna be really cool. Yeah, again, just like trying to expand my knowledge horizons and look into things that are maybe not just like fun and hee hee ha ha. Another nonfiction book that I don't currently have right now, but I'm gonna pick up from the ASU library tomorrow because they told me that I can go and pick it up, is The Devil in the White City. It is about H.H. Holmes and his murder castle. The reason I'm reading this is because I have to do a paper for my English class that's full semester long, but it's a research paper, and basically we have to pick a historical event that either was or was not revised and why we think it should or should not have been revised. Is Coraline. This one also doesn't have a dust jacket, but if you look really close you can see it says Coraline. I've wanted to read this for so long. I love Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, so I had to read Coraline, obviously, because it's October. I gotta have some spooky reading. We have some spooky reading, but like a traditionally spooky reading. This is not gonna take. This will take me like an hour to read. Maybe it's technically a children's book, but if you haven't looked up how this book got published as a children's book, you need to look it up. This is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I picked it up at Target. Now, I forgot when I picked it up that this is a series, so I don't actually know if I'm gonna finish the series this month or when I'm gonna be able to finish the series, since I currently don't have a job. We're working on it, but I don't know how many books are in the series. I'm afraid that I'm gonna like finish this in one day and be like, I need to read the next one. So I'll try and figure it out. We'll try and work it out. But guys, that is it for today's video. Subscribe, like, comment down below if you read any of these books that I mentioned in the video, what you thought of them, or you know, books that you really liked and want to see me read. You can also follow me on Goodreads. Like I said at the beginning, it's going to be in the description, or it's just ashlie.rose. And yeah, stick around because I got some really exciting things coming up. I'm literally already filming for the next 2 weeks of videos, and I'm so excited. Oh my god. I'm gagged. Literally gagged. It's visceral excitement. So yeah, stick around. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be lovely. Okay, yeah, that's it. That was a really awkward. I never know how to end these. Bye.